got to get on the air here right now. Hello again, everybody. Lance Russell and Dave Brown. By golly, sitting right along ringside, and we're ready to go with another big day of championship wrestling.
We are indeed. Welcome back from vacation.
Thank you, sir.
Superstar Bill Dundee will be here, and he is going to have with him Jed Grundy. Wait till you see this. Jed Grundy and Bill Dundee in a tag team match coming up later on today. Dutch Mantell will be here. Brian Lee. Frankie the Thumper Lancaster will be teaming with Jimmy Golden a bit later on. You will see the King, Jerry Lawler, P.Y. Chuhai. Phil Hickerson will be going against another new face, the Dreamweaver. And then later on, we've got the Japanese team of Shogun and Samurai to go against one of the team members, someone you haven't met yet, Jungle Jim McPherson. Who will be in here a little bit later on.
Right. We'll be looking forward to that. It's always good to have new talent. It's always interesting to see them in there. We got some of it today. That's not all. We got some great footage and a whole bunch of other stuff. We'll get to it right after we take time out for this. As a team we haven't seen together before. As a matter of fact, one of the members we haven't ever seen before, and we're going to get our first look at him, and there he is, coming through the ropes, the superstar, Bill Dundee, and he's got with him his partner, Jed Dundee.
How you doing, sir?
Billy, is this...
Lancer, how you doing?
I am stunned at your partner. Who you got, Bill?
Well, one day, Lancer, we was up there working at the wrestling school we was going, and this guy walks through the door, and I looked, and walked on over. He said to me, "You Mr. Dundee?" I said, "Yeah, that's me." I stuck my hand out. I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Jed." I thought he was going to say Jed Clamp, but he didn't. He said, "Jed Grundy." I said, "Well, what can I do for you?" He said, "Well, you teach people to scuffle." I said, "No, not really." I said, "I teach people to wrestle." I said, "Do you have the money for the tuition?" And I really don't think he knew what tuition meant. He just looked at me, and he said, "Well, no, I really don't know." He said, "I got a few dollars in my pocket here and a can of snuff." I said, "Sit down here, brother, and watch." So he sat there and talked to him for a little while. He said, I do this all the time." I said, "Where you live? Where'd you say you was from?"
Salt Gum, Kentucky.
Salt Gum, Kentucky.
Salt Gum, Kentucky.
Look at this now.
You know about...
Hey, Jed.
How are you?
Lance Russell. How you doing, partner? I don't want to bother your buddy there. Is this a manager?
Yeah, he had him with him there. I know. He said he...
What's he eating, a moon pie? That chicken eating a moon pie?
The chicken takes a bite. Jed takes a bite. So he sat there for a while. So I said, "Well, what do you think?" He says, "Man, this is what I do up in Daniel Boone." He lives up near the Daniel Boone Reservation. He said, "I'll go down there and wrestle them little bear cubs, couple around them." He said, "I can do that." I said, "Well, then you don't need me, brother." So I thought that was the last I'd see him. Oh, a month or two later, back he comes. He says, "I'm ready to do it, Bill." I said, "What you ready to do?" He said, "I'm ready to fight, scuffle, whatever you want to do." I said, "Well, brother, you need to come with me." I didn't know he was bringing this, so he showed up. So he had a goat in the back of the truck. I said, "Jed, I don't mind the chicken, but the goat can't come, brother." So I swear he did. He said, "Well, I feel more lonely away from him." So here he is. He brought the chicken, the goat. I don't know where the goat is. So,
Can I leave this on your desk to watch? He wants to watch.
He just wants to sit and watch.
This is Dave Brown. Introduce yourself to Dave. He'll look after. He's the chicken minder.
Dave, what do you think, Dave?
Don't try to eat his moon pie.
All I can say is I've had a whole lot of partners, brother, but old Jed, he's a little different. Don't know much about wrestling, but he can fight, and anybody wants it, whether it be the Japs or anybody else, brother, we're ready.
Jed looks like he goes about 400 pounds. I'll tell you, there's plenty of him to go around for a fact. Yeah.
What did I tell you, Jed? When you was leaving, I said you got to get a little what?
Oh, he says you need to get a little bigger. So I went home and put on 40 pounds.
All right. We got it ready to go. You never know. Hey, boss, they had to bring in a manager with about your mentality, so they brought Jed Button.
Get this stinking barnyard animal out of here. I ain't sharing no steak with him. Get that out of here.
You get it.
Yeah,
okay,
Dave. A moon fire. This is going to be a one-fall, 10-minute time limit match. Introducing, from parts unknown, with Boss Winter in their corner, Rough and Ready at a total weight of 442. Across the way, from Australia at 214 pounds, it's the superstar, Bill Dundee, and his partner out of Salt Gum, Kentucky at 460, Jed Grundy. It's Dundee starting against Rough.
Welcome to Saturday morning hee-haw or whatever.
I think you're right. Yeah, the chicken is over here. I asked Jed if he had a name. He said, "No, just chicken." So there's the chicken right there, just eating the moon pie and having a good time here, watching championship wrestling.
He hadn't gotten excited yet because Jed hadn't gotten in the ring yet.
That's right. Here he comes.
Oh, yeah. Look at here. Whoa! Whoa!
Talk about your legendary brick wall, huh? What he just ran into.
Yeah. He shoves him across the ring.
Boy, look at this.
We're going to have to go to the book and find the scientific name for that wrestling move right there, David.
What is that?
Oh, that's what we were just saying. What is that, boss? Back over in the corner, Dundee from behind and feeds him back out to Mr. Jed, who doesn't seem to need a whole lot of help. Gave him a little tap in there and tags Bill Dundee, the superstar. Turns the arm over. Rough and ready in there with the team of Bill Dundee and Jed Grundy from Salt Gum, Kentucky.
Salt Gum. There's a cover by Dundee. Got about a 2 count. Rough kicked out of it.
Oh, raked across the eyes, and Billy taking some shots right now. He comes back with the arm turned over. Tag, Jed Grundy coming back in. Whoa!
Goodness.
And he nailed him with the Grundy groaner, and he really put it on him, too, didn't he?
He's not checking to make sure he's okay. Nice man, Jed Grundy. Oh, boy, yeah, sure it was legal, boss. You better leave the chicken alone.
No, I don't
Here
think
comes Jed this way.
That's right. I don't think he'd appreciate it if you put your hands on his chicken over here. Well, I tell you one thing, Billy. I'm not going to tell you that's the greatest scientific move I ever saw, but partner, you got a winner. That's
What did I tell you, brother?
I sure am
You didn't fight his little thing here, did you?
The chicken was doing fine.
Don't carry the chicken.
Kind of worked up. Oh, no, I don't know whether you can or not. Yeah. Gave it back. He feels at home over there with you. Okay, thank you, Jed. Okay, we're going to take a break, and we're going to be back in just a moment. Well, I'm simply going to say this about the final event coming up Wednesday at the Coliseum in Evansville, partner. You have got to stay tuned because it's the doggonedest thing I have seen in a long, long time. And that's just one of the bouts that's going to be on the card. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now. I will tell you that there's going to be a lumberjack strap match in there, and it's going to be for the CWA heavyweight title with Dutch Mantell and Jeff Jarrett going against each other. And this one, there's going to be guys outside the ring, Jeff. They'll have straps in their hands, partner, and it's not healthy to get out there.
That sure isn't, but I'm not going to have to worry about that, Lance, because every match I've had with Mantell, it seems like he's the one doing all the running. Every time I try to get him in a pin and predicament, he's the one who puts his foot on the ropes and tries to get outside the ring. Well, Mantell, this week in Evansville, you can't do that because when you do roll outside that ring, I'm going to have 2 or 3 or maybe 4 guys out there with a leather strap in each hand, and they're going to wear your rear end out. So every time you get hit, you're going to get right back in the ring, and the match keeps going on. And this week, Lance, we're going to find out who the CWA heavyweight champion is.
By golly, I tell you, that's the way to do it. Get in the ring, scrap it out, and let the best man come out of there. But when the guy's running, you can't do a whole lot about that, can you, Jeff?
That's right.
Don't believe he'll do too much jumping out.
See you Wednesday.
The ring. Okay, Jeff, good luck to you. Coliseum, Evansville, that's where that's going to happen, and that's not all. Let me tell you, got a CWA tag title match, and this is an interesting, challenging team. A newcomer. You'll see him today if you haven't already seen him in there. We're talking about the Dream Weaver. Here's a physical specimen who really knows how to put on that sleeper hold, teaming up with the exotic Adrian Street, and they're going to be challenging Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden for the CWA heavyweight title. Son of a gun, it should be a dandy in there. That's just part of the card that's going to be taking place. Now, I want you to settle back because coming up in just a moment, you are going to see the doggonedest thing that's happened in wrestling in a long, long time. Really a total surprise, and I think it's something you're going to have to pay particular attention to because it affects Evansville Wednesday night. Stay tuned. Got to step in here because there is something you must see. I got to tell you, in all the years that I've been doing wrestling, I have never had such a shock in all of my life. Let me tell you first, there's a match set up where Jerry the King Lawler had brought in Robert Gibson, one half of the Rock and Roll Express, to go against the team of the Master of Pain and Ricky Morton, the other half of the Rock and Roll Express. That was the tag match that was set up. That's all I'm going to tell you. I want you to stay tuned and look at the doggonedest thing you've ever seen. Here it is.
Lawler comes up. Robert got out of the way, and Master of Pain slammed right into Ricky Morton. Lawler got down behind him in the old schoolyard routine, and Robert Gibson drop-kicked him. They're down pounding on him. Look out. Rick Morton has got a chain on his hand, and as Lawler gets up, Brother Ricky tags him, and I mean busts Lawler down hard. The referee's down on the floor where Gibson and the Master of Pain are fighting. Robert about out of the ring, and Ricky Morton slams Lawler again with that chain right in the head. Master of Pain looks like he's choking Robert Gibson. I can see what Ricky Morton's doing. He's pounding Lawler with that chain on his fist. Master of Pain picks Robert up, bends him back over the ropes, and now Ricky goes in on Lawler and pounding away at him again.
Got him open.
He's got to have him busted open. I hadn't seen his face yet, but he has got to. Now he's raking that chain across where he's busted his head open. He's hooked up in the ropes, the Master of Pain is. Robert grabbing the ropes to pull up. Lawler blocks the chain, pulls it away from Rick Morton. The Master of Pain tied up in the ropes. Lawler pulls the chain, wraps it around after he hit Morton once. And Robert Gibson grabs Lawler and says, hey, don't hit him with a chain. Lawler's saying, for crying out loud, man, he had the chain. 20 minutes past 40 to wrestle. Rick Morton raised up from the corner and kicked away at Jerry Lawler, who hit Robert Gibson right in the jaw with that chain. Lawler getting a hit by Robert Gibson, Roger.
Lawler in some kind of trouble now. Gibson and Morton pouring it on Lawler.
Well, the referee calls for the bell. Stop the match, yeah. He stopped it at 20 minutes and 50 seconds. Boy, it was hard for you to understand it, I'm sure. Morton had the chain first. He slammed Lawler, busted him open with it. Now Robert Gibson up, high-fiving with Ricky Morton. Morton jumps off the ring ropes and nails Lawler. Morton had the chain. He nailed Lawler. Lawler finally stopped it, took it away from him. He nailed Ricky Morton with it. Robert Gibson got up as Lawler was getting ready to go back after Morton again. He stops Lawler from using the chain. He did not know that Ricky had brought it in. Double drop kick from the Rock and Roll Express. And Lawler being pounded by all three of them. He is senseless at 20 minutes and 50 seconds. It was stopped. Here comes the superstar, Bill Dundee.
Unbelievable. I tell you what, before I hear anything from you guys, let me just say, that's not all of it. I want you to hear what Rick Morton and Robert Gibson had to say. We asked him about it a little earlier.
You know, Ricky, I come down here, man, to wrestle you because I heard you was doing some bad things for here. According to Lawler, he said you was running your mouth saying this about me and saying that. Well, you know, I can prove to Jerry Lawler he ain't nothing but a liar. What you did, son, you come out there, you put out a chain. You tried to cripple my partner. Not only him, you hit me, man. Nobody hits a rock and roll and gets away with it. Let me
Sure got that right, Robert. Let me tell you something. Jerry Lawler, you try to break up the Rock and Roll Express.
No way.
You know, brother, we've been at every bar from Maine to Tipadola, Louisiana to Portland, Oregon. We drank enough whiskey to float a battleship around. And, brother, we beat every tag team in the world today. Now, you gonna bring Bill Dundee down? You know, they're saying, bro, they've been dying to get a hold of the Rock and Roll Express to prove themselves that they're the greatest tag team around. But Lawler, you and Dundee, brother, ain't nothing. You can't walk where we've been, brother. Blood is thicker than water. We've been together a long time, and you or nobody else is gonna break it up. You see, Lawler, I proved to Robert Gibson that you are a liar. You are a snake in the grass. And rock and roll is forever. And you believe it, brother. You say you want to fight. Well, you got to fight, brother, because there's one thing we don't do. We don't hit a good man when he's down. We put our boots to him, baby.
Well, you hear him right there.
That's right, Lance, and I've waited for this for a long time, just like the King has. All the tag teams has been in and out of here. The Fabulous Ones was great, the Rock and Roll was great, and the one that was always considered the best was the Superstar and the King. Oh, yeah, and you guys went off the NWA. You beat the Road Warriors. You beat Manny Fernando and Rick Rude. You beat them all. You beat the Midnight Express. But you never did get in the ring with the King and the Superstar. Oh, they said, no, we're all good guys, brother. We don't want to fight them. Yeah, the reason you didn't want to fight us back then is because you were scared. Well, you show your true colors, brother, the way you picked on this man. You brought Robert Gibson in and convinced him that he was something that he wasn't. Well, you've bit off more you can chew, boys.
Let me just say this to you, Ricky Morton. You know, up until now, brother, it's been about a world championship belt. That's the reason you came in here. That's what started all this. You wanted to try to win a title from me. Well, you found out you weren't man enough to do that. So you call in this big 6'9" jerk. And you and he weren't man enough to get the job done, even together. And I happened to call a former friend of yours, Robert Gibson, and he said he'd be more than glad to come and try to straighten you out. Well, you even pull the wool over his eyes. If he would just sit down and take a look at the tape, he would know what a low-life, stinking, slimy snake in the grass you are. Well, let me tell you something, Morton. It's gone past titles. It's gone past tag teams. You can talk about how great the Rock and Roll Express was, how great of wrestlers you guys are. Well, this ain't going to be wrestling when I get you in that ring, because it's time to hurt some people. You may be mad, Rick Morton, and you too, Robert Gibson, and now you're going to pay for it.
Okay, before I get into the whole card, you ever see anything like it, what you just got through looking at? Boy, I mean to tell you what. We'll have more to say about that in just a moment. Tuesday, March the 28th, that's going to be Charleston, Indiana, at the Charleston High School. We're talking about sponsored by the athletic department. You can save $1 on the tickets in advance. Tickets available at the high school. That's Tuesday, March the 28th in Charleston, Indiana. That, in fact, is going to be one that'll be a little ways off, but you'll want to make your plans for it around Charleston. Now let's take a look at Wednesday night, Evansville, Indiana, the Coliseum. Opening match, Jed Grundy. Son of a gun, what an introduction we had to him today, huh? And Scott Steiner will be going against P.Y. Chu Hai. That's Phil Hickerson. His partner, Frankie the Thumper Lancaster. Brian Lee and the Master of Pain, the Dreamweaver and Adrian Street against Fuller and Golden. Jarrett and Mantell in the final match. Lawler and Dundee will be going against the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. You got to be there Wednesday. Next match.
And on one side of the ring, we've got Scott Steiner out of Detroit, Michigan. His partner out of Arkansas, William the Freezer Thompson. They weigh in at a total of 537. Total is 478 across the way. Out of Montgomery, Alabama, it's Jimmy Golden. And out of Tampa, Florida, Frankie the Thumper Lancaster. This tag team match is one fall, 10-minute time limit. Jerry Calhoun will keep them separated.
Scott Steiner starting out against gentleman Jimmy Golden from Montgomery, Alabama. We're talking about the Dutchman being a veteran. Here's another one right here. Cousin of Robert Fuller. And with all of the things that we can say, and sometimes we spend more time talking about that aspect, that we can say about Jimmy Golden, let me tell you, this guy can wrestle. He's in there, though, with a young man who cut his teeth in a big-time way in amateur wrestling. He was an NCAA All-American at University of Michigan, as was his brother. He's now got a standing side headlock, but the Thumper over in the corner just got thumped.
Whoa,
and
Scott
again.
Steiner, yeah, thought he was in trouble there, but he nailed the Thumper. And Steiner ducked out of the way.
Look at here.
Look at this. Steiner letting the two of them beat up each other. And now Golden and Thumper both get out of the ring, and they better get a meeting going here.
You can tell that Golden and the Thumper haven't worked all that much together. It's not exactly like it was Fuller as his partner in there. Jimmy Golden asking him what happened in there, and now he's saying, let me have a little time to talk over things.
Sometimes the timing is not quite right. In the case of this team today, so far it's just been horrible.
Exactly. The Thumper, Frankie Lancaster. Boy, what a physical specimen he is. Comes out of Florida also. Tag on Frankie Lancaster, and Jimmy Golden takes a little rest on the outside. Scott Steiner stays in. We call him the muscle man from the Motor City, and boy, he has got every piece of muscle to live up to that reputation. Well, look at him. Picks the Thumper up. Slams Jimmy Golden down. Hooks and hip tosses both Golden and Lancaster. And Scott Steiner on a roll, got it working today.
He sure does. He's looking good so far. We're 2 minutes, 15 seconds into the match, and Scott Steiner has controlled it. And in most of the way, he's had to go against both of them, both Golden and Frankie Lancaster.
As you pointed out, their timing has been horrible, but they have done nothing right thus far today, Dave. Talking about Golden and Lancaster, and Steiner is waiting. The referee gets tired and calls him back with a count. You better get up here. And here comes the Thumper back into the ring. Frankie Lancaster. Tampa, Florida, isn't it, Dave?
Exactly,
Yeah.
Tampa, Florida. He has quite a background in wrestling, too. He's made a lot of noise down in the Tampa area.
Tag again on Golden.
Lancaster has made a lot of noise around here since he's been a member of the stud stable, too.
Yeah. Fuller spied him right off the bat and said, I think he looks like stud material. And he is now a large member of the stud stable. Scott Steiner reverses it on Jimmy Golden. Drops down with a knee right into the lower spine as he still has the hammerlock on Golden.
I think a little of that collegiate skill just showed up with Scott there as he slipped that hole and turned it to his advantage against Golden.
You watch that team, Steiner.
Hooks the shoulder, rolls him over. Steiner is assaulted by Lancaster, but he is back up, holding on to Jimmy Golden. Makes the tag on William Thompson.
By far the biggest of the four in the ring. Freezer weighs in at he's over 300 pounds. Lancaster sent back outside as a Freezer working on that left arm. Now Golden moves Freezer back to the corner. Bad place to be because they can double team him back there. Lancaster takes him back to the center of the ring. Thompson with a nice body slam leaves Lancaster there. Thompson goes for the ropes. He's climbing them.
Look out for Golden.
Golden nails him. Golden down the apron, just nailed him with a fist. Now Lancaster grabs him on the ropes. Look at that. Snaps him into the ring.
Shows you the kind of power that Frankie Lancaster's got. He flipped him off those ropes down into the middle. Gets a 1, 2, 3. And while that may be the only thing we had to like about their side of the ring, I'll tell you, that was a solid move by Frankie Lancaster. And he gets the 1, 2, 3 on it, and Lancaster and Golden come up with a victory.
4 minutes, 34 seconds for the stud stable members here today.
Yowza! We've got more of it. Action coming up. The King will be out here a little bit later on, and we're going to be looking for action all the way down the line. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. Payne last week, and I'm one of those. We've got him in here today, Dave.
Well, we sure do. And here he comes right now with Dutch Mantell, looks like in his corner. The master of Payne, the big guy that...
Awesome power, Master Payne right now.
Awesome power, yeah, I've seen awesome power, all right. David Johnson he's going against. David out of Memphis, Tennessee. Master of Payne, his last address, I think, was state pen in Atlanta, or federal pen in Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, he starts right out. He's on a chokehold, and the referee could disqualify him right there. He started to count, and he finally broke it. But David Johnson, about half the size of this giant, is picked up in the air, no problem. He's pressed straight up in the air by the Master of Payne and takes him up to drop him over the rope, and down he goes. David Johnson with an impossible task in front of him here.
No way in the world he'll be able to do much against this big guy.
Ripped him with that right hand down across the head, picks him straight up, slams him down into the mat. I watched him drop that big leg, boy, boy, boy. 1, 2, and I guess that's it. I mean to tell you, in not very long, what was the time on that, David?
54 seconds.
See that? You see that?
Hey, that's enough of that. Come on, get him out of there.
What an awesome power the Master of Pain.
He already won the match. He doesn't have to start trying to hurt David
Now,
Johnson.
you know who I want out here right now? That big guy who bumps his gums all the time, Jerry Law, if he's got an ounce of guts in his body. Let him climb in the ring here, and let's show him how awesome this Master of Pain is. Now, if he's the big champion, the unification title holder, and all that, let him get in the ring right now. And we're not leaving the ring till Lawler comes on.
Lawler has got a match coming up, Dutch. Your match is over there with him.
To come out here. Let's face it, Lawler's afraid to get in the ring because this man is going to embarrass him in his hometown.
He got the win. Get him out of there, and let's get on with it.
And you can't make me get him out of there.
Well, I'm not going to
Well,
physically try to...
There's no law for me. There's no law for that man here. Get Lawler out here. Send the message to the bank. Send it, Dave. Don't bump on the line. Do something.
Lawler has got a match coming up in there, and the Master of Pain just walking around stalking it.
Who's Lawler wrestling anyway?
He's got Keith Eric.
Keith Eric, he ain't beat nobody. Let Lawler come out here and face some real competition. Tell him to come around here.
Dutch, if you do everybody a favor and let us get on with the program and get out of there. Well, there he is. You go over and tell him your problem. Jerry Lawler has got a match coming up here with Keith Eric. And
get in the ring, Lawler. Come on, you're the big champion. Get in the ring.
Come on, he had a match already lined up.
Let me tell you something, Lawler. You're going to wrestle Keith Eric. Don't worry about Keith Eric. Get in the ring with my man, the Master of Pain. You got an ounce of guts in your body, which I doubt. Climb in there. You're the big champion. You're the big head cheeser. Come on out here. Look, he's leaving. He is leaving. He has showed his true color. Oh, he's coming back. He can't make up his mind what he wants to do.
Come on, Jerry. You don't have to let them bully you in a match like this right away with this guy. Lawler climbing in the ring, Dave.
Well, he sure is. Well, all right. Okay. Jerry Calhoun says it's a match, so Lawler's agreed to go against the Master of Pain. He said earlier he'd had some trouble figuring the guy out. Let's see what happens here. Master of Pain.
Not much to figure out there. He just grabbed him by the throat and choking on him.
Yeah, that's kind of what he started doing with David Johnson in his match. Just grab that throat and try to choke him. Look at this, the King up in the air, high in the air.
Pressed 234 pounds straight up over his head. Dumps Lawler down, and the Master of Pain drops with a leg.
Look at that champion laying water all around the ring like a big beach whale. Look at it.
This is no title match. Let me make that clear.
I'm trying to prove a point here to the fans here because they're a bunch of ignorant fans anyway. Look, I don't faze him. I don't faze the Master of Pain. He spent all that time in prison doing hard time. I mean hard time, and a lot of time in solitary confinement. This man has got a lot of mental strength in his body and a lot of physical strength too, and he's going to use it all against Lawler today. He's going to take the battle to him. Look, he's just going to look at him. Good.
Lawler teed off with that right hand of his, and he didn't faze him. Not that first time. And the Master of Pain stalking him across the ring. Now Jerry wheels him around in the corner, and again he tags him, shakes his head almost imperceptibly, and Lawler's got his hands full. There's no doubt about it. This guy absolutely takes a punch as good as anybody I believe I've ever seen. Now Jerry's trying to pick him up. He goes over 300 pounds. He snaps Lawler up almost with one arm and slams him down. Again.
He's not doing so good, is he, Mr. Russell?
He is off to a slow start, Dutch. No doubt about that.
Slower start by the time all this is over with. I told him, Master of Pain, Lawler's not too smart, and, you know, if you goad him a little bit, he'll take the challenge. He thinks he's got to prove something to the fans. The only thing he's going to prove to the fans today is that that title belt he's holding is soon going to be in possession of the Master of Pain, who in turn is going to turn around and give it to either me or Ricky Morton, because he's not going to hold it long. He can't do nothing. Come on, Payne.
Well, maybe you never stop and thought about the fact he's using this to find out a little bit more about where this guy's weakness is, Dutch.
Well, has he found one yet? So it looks like it's all for naught, if you ask me.
So far, he hadn't found one, but it's not over with.
All for naught. See, what we're witnessing right here is the end of an era, the end of the Jerry Lawler era. And he said a lot of big guys took him on. Yeah, that's true. He beat a lot of guys. He beat who's who in professional wrestling. But this man here is specially recruited, and I don't recruit guys that I don't think can do the job. Because I recruited him especially out of prison because he had the mental attitude and the physical capabilities of taking Lawler out. See, Lawler don't have the size, he don't have the drive, and he don't have just the pure meanness to take this man. Look at that.
Ripping him to the midsection, lefts and right.
Take him down.
Take a Jerry right off his feet as the master of pain. He is a physical specimen, no doubt about that. And this guy, as opposed to, and I'm not knocking it, but I mean, as opposed to the bodybuilder look, he is just massive.
He's just huge and strong. Dutch has stepped into the ring there.
Ought to be a disqualification for him being in there. Dutch backs him up. What is this nonsense?
Come on, Jerry. That's a disqualification as Dutch gets in the ring.
Hey, disqualify him for Dutch getting in there, for crying out loud.
Doesn't interfere. It doesn't have to. He just got in the ring. That's a disqualification automatically.
Now, what is this? Mantell. Well, what is this, Dutch?
Come here, brother. Come here. I'm trying to prove a point here. I want you to look at this man right here, and I want you to look at that man right there and tell me who the top man is. This man right here, Lawler, you're gone, pal, and he's laying. I tell you, we see him laying in the ring, left in the ring. I proved my point.
Yeah, you took it upon yourself to stop them. All right, just, hey, you've been out here long enough. Now, just get him out of here, Dutch. We don't need any trouble out here from him. You took it upon yourself to stop the match. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's. Well, man, you know what he did that for? He did that just to embarrass Lawler.
That's exactly.
Psychologically, just to try to embarrass him by doing it. One, he didn't beat him. And so Dutch decided the best way in the world to try to embarrass the king out there was just to pull him out of the ring and say, well, we proved our point, we're going to let it stay at that.
But he did not get a victory over the king. That's important to point out, I think. However, the king not feeling too well right now.
Oh, boy, he took some shots there in the midsection. Terrible. We're going to take time out. Be back in just a moment. Okay, back into the action in just a moment. By golly, I tell you saw it earlier. You talking about the tag match of the year. This has got to be it. Bill Dundee, Jerry Lawler going against the Rock and Roll Express. And that one I don't have to say any more about. What a battle it's going to be. CWA tag match will be Wednesday night. There's also going to be a lumberjack strap match where the CWA heavyweight champion, Dutch Mantell, will be in against Jeff Jarrett. Talked to Jeff a little earlier. I have never seen him more determined to get in there and make a believer out of you, Dutch
You talked to Jeff Jarrett a little bit earlier. Is that my understanding? What did he say? Did he say anything good about me, or was it all negative and all bad?
He said you're going to have to stay in the ring, and he's going to show you. He knows he can beat you. Now he's going to convince you he can.
Well, he better convince himself he can beat me first. Evansville, Indiana, the land of high water and low brains. And I don't think, Lance, there's any town in the country I hate worse than Evansville, Indiana. I'd have to really press myself. Yeah, there is a town. Henderson, Kentucky. I hate that town, too. Both of them are together, and they're both the cesspool of the world right there. But Jeff Jarrett, when I get to Evansville, I'm going to be in a real bad mood. And when I'm in a bad mood, some bad things happen to my opponents. And my opponent in Evansville is going to be Jeff Jarrett. From my understanding, some men are going to be stationed outside the ring with straps and belts, right? Well, that's all fine and good, because I'm going to have some friends out there too, Jarrett, and when you end up on that floor, when you feel that belt on your back, you're going to hop up, run back in. I'm going to knock you back out. I'm going to play ping pong with the floor, more or less. And Jeff, let me tell you one more thing. When I shut you up in Evansville, maybe he won't come crying back to the CWA anymore saying, please let me have a shot, because when this is all over, he won't even hear my name, let alone step in the same ring with me, because I'm having trouble now getting to step in the same building with me. Oh. When he knows I'm in a building, somebody's got to almost push him inside the door to get him in there. But I'm going to take you out in Evansville and a bunch of friends outside that ring, too.
said it right at the top of today's program. We're always interested in seeing new talent, and right now we're going to bring out and introduce to you a brand new wrestler for the CWA territory. A young man who goes under the handle of the Dreamweaver, and here he comes. And stunning looking physical specimen. He got the name of the Dreamweaver. How you doing? Got the name of the Dreamweaver because this fella is a specialist in the sleeper hold, and I understand you put a lot of them into Dreamtime.
Well, first of all, I want to say it's nice to see you, Lance. I've heard a lot about you. Nice to see Mr. Brown and to be around all these great people in this area. I've heard a lot about the fans here, and I'm looking forward to wrestling here. A lot of great things are going to happen for me. I'm going to make a lot of great things happen. And you're right, the sleeper hold is my specialty. I spent a lot of time perfecting this hold, and I feel I can use it better than anyone in wrestling today. And I've got a feeling I'm going to make a prediction that a lot of my friends around here are going to be visiting my favorite city, Dreamland. And believe me, it's going to be sweet dreams, guys, or it could be your worst nightmare, and I'm serious about that.
Okay, that's a Dreamweaver. Boy, you're starting out with a tough one today in P.Y. Chu High. You've got a match in the ring right now. Good luck. We're delighted to have you here, and I'm going to be interested to see him in action out there. Because let me tell you, the sleeper hole, a lot of guys take a run and grab at the sleeper, and they'll get it on. Somebody who really knows how to put it on right is a very dangerous person indeed. They can really maneuver in that ring in there. Okay, David.
P.Y. Chu High in here at listed 289 pounds. Tojo Yamamoto and the kendo stick in his corner. And the Dreamweaver at 280 pounds, his opponent.
230?
No, 280.
Oh, I was going to say, man, that's the biggest 230 I ever saw.
280 pounds. Hickerson pushing 300.
He's a specimen, too, this Dreamweaver is.
Yeah, good-looking, athletic build there.
Yes, sir. But he is going against one of the annually toughest son of a guns you'll find in a ring or in a bar or on the street or anywhere. Big shoulder. It staggered the Dreamweaver back, but, brother, it put P.Y. Chu High down on the mat.
It did. It rocked the ring off of one of the supporting pads here, the foundation. Tells you what kind of weight you got going back and forth in there. 280 and almost 300. Now, one thing about the sleeper hole, I'm just looking at Hickerson, or P.Y. Chu High. He's got a thick neck. And sometimes guys that specialize in the sleeper hole like to see that. It's easier for them to set up on that way. We'll see if Dreamweaver can make it work. Hickerson, well, Hickerson not doing too well right now. P.Y. Chu High picking himself up off the mat after being pressed down there.
Very quick move by the Dreamweaver, who whipped him around and caught him with that short clothesline and popped P.Y. Chu High off his feet down on the deck. Has a little conversation with Tojo Yamamoto. You know, talking about Hickerson weighing 289. I was thinking that kendo stick doesn't weigh very much, but sometimes it's as dangerous as the 289 in the ring, huh?
You're right. I was just thinking that Hickerson's conference with Tojo, he was probably saying, look, if this guy comes over close to you, you nail him with that kendo stick. Better believe that's what he told him.
Boy, caught him with that double cross as he nailed him right up there and took him down on the mat. Hickerson, well, that's that move that he picked up when he was over in Japan. He uses that very stiff wrist and fist and slams him with the back of it. Now, yeah, he didn't nail it, but he's choking the stew out of him, Dave. You call that one right. Hickerson, look, holding referee Terry Calhoun while Yamamoto is choking him away with that kendo stick. Well, now Tojo says, get him now. P.Y. Chu High again pulls the referee away. And Yamamoto, with a kendo stick, stretched right across the neck of the Dreamweaver. Whoa, look at across the ring.
Got a little help coming in, maybe in the form of Mr. Jed Grundy.
Jed Grundy. We just met Jed today, and he comes in to make some comments to P.Y. Chu High. Uh-oh, look at that. Look at Yamamoto in the ring.
Oh, Dreamweaver catches Tojo from behind. DQ on Tojo Yamamoto being in the ring, but the Dreamweaver going with a sleeper. Now Hickerson turns, but Grundy trips him up as he turns out of the corner.
Jed reached out and just grabbed a hold of that foot. And Hickerson and Grundy kind of squaring off. And look at the Dreamweaver.
Yeah. And look at Tojo.
Yamamoto toes up as he put the squeeze on him. And I mean, took him flat right down on the mat with that sleeper hold. And P.Y. Chu high over there by Tojo trying to get him up as the Dreamweaver, who, while he really didn't get a big physical assist from Grundy, I think it helped that Grundy tripped Chu high up when he started to come over there.
I thought they were going to jump him there. The Samurai and Shogun came out. Dreamweaver does not want to wake him up. He doesn't mind waking him up. He just doesn't want to get in there with Hickerson and the whole Japanese team.
No, you've got Shogun Masamune and Samurai Shinji. Hey, get him out of here. We got matches to go on in here. Hickerson and company pulling Tojo, and he is out of it as they take him out, put out by the Dreamweaver. Last week there was a battle royal. I didn't get to see it either, so I'm going to be interested in seeing this, Dave. It was here on our championship wrestling.
It was a while when the desk was involved in it. Tracy Smothers ended up getting hurt, so it was quite a battle royal.
We've got just the last part of that battle royal. Let's take a look at it right now.
Tracy Smothers. Tracy ducks under. This time they grab him, pick him up, and drop him straight down in the center of the ring. Tracy bounced about a foot off the mat. Now one holds him up. The other. Oh, it comes into the spin. Tracy ducks out of the way. One of them is flipped over the top rope. So it is Samurai. Oh, that's it. All right, Tracy out of the ring. So the hand of Samurai raised is still battling down here on the floor. Look out, here comes Hickerson. Now we got 3 against 1 here. As Hickerson goes after Tracy, this match is over. Hey, come on, Phil. What are you doing? Come on, the match is over. Tojo, say it. Tojo's telling him to hit him with a pile driver. Goodness gracious. Come on, let's get him out of here. Tracy slammed down on this desk here twice, and the last time broke it. Now they pile drive him out here on the floor. Hickerson and the Japanese team and Tojo, all of them working on Tracy Smothers. Come on, get him some help out here. Here comes Scott Steiner, Brian Lee, Jeff Jarrett.
Well, now I know what happened to the desk in there, as it took 3 of them to jump on Tracy Smothers. Okay, Dave, let's go back to the ring.
You better get that kick back there and have both go. Do you realize a man stay out that long, he gets brain damage? Now we can't get Tojo away. Now he's somebody that's supposed to be doing that. Let's get him out of here.
It me now.
He's got loose on both of y'all, boy.
All right, now come on, Cale, take it out of here.
I'm waking up right now.
Well, you have to go get somebody else in there. Go find Randy Hales or Eddie Marlin or somebody else. Don't be hollering at us over here about it.
You got the millions. You love it.
No, yeah, all I can tell you is he deserved it. He jumped up in the ring. He didn't have any business in there. You know it, too. Okay, Dave.
That's right. Well, we got a match here with the Japanese team, Shogun Shinji and Samurai Masamune. 530 pounds out of Tokyo, Japan. Looks like Phil Hickerson, P.Y. Chuhai is going to be in their corner. Going against them at a total of 447. Out of Arkansas, Alan Reynolds. And from the concrete jungle, Salem, New Jersey, Jungle Jim McPherson.
Okay. You back there and open him up, man. He can suffer brain damage, I'm telling you. You keep a man out that long.
Well, you ought to be back there instead of out here hollering at us, seeing if you can't get him around here. Well, I don't know either. Starting in the ring up there is Shogun Masamune going against Jungle Jim McPherson. You know, it's hard to overlook the Yamamoto influence and the P.Y. Chu-Hai hanging around and all. But if you can ever get past that, this is a good-looking tag team, this Masamune and Senshi.
They've got all the right moves to be a fine wrestling team without all that other stuff, without Kojo, without Chu-Hai.
I've been impressed with the fact that not only do they have the martial arts mastered, but in addition to that, how much and how naturally they get into the catch-as-catch-can style of wrestling, particularly Masamune.
McPherson.
Whoa! Look at Jungle Jim.
Nails him with a couple of good drop kicks. And the Japanese team takes the opportunity to regroup with P.Y. Chu-Hai. A little celebration by Jungle Jim in there. Referee tolling the count. He's up to 3. They've got 10 to get back in there. Conference is over. The Japanese team heads back to the apron. Hickerson had a word or two for Jerry Calhoun. I don't know what he said to him, but there's Jungle Jim. Ooh, jab into the throat. I think he used the point of the fingers, too.
Oh, what a move.
Yeah. What balance as he just flipped over under the apron and then flipped right back into the ring. And now there's Hickerson again. Boy, is he upset. This has not been P.Y. Chu-Hai's day. He lost a match. His manager is sleeping somewhere in the back, courtesy of the Dreamweaver. And the team of Shogun and Samurai being embarrassed a little bit, I think you'd have to say, by Jungle Jim and the well-balanced moves he's been putting on him. There's a tag made. Alan Reynolds is coming in now against Samurai.
Alan cranking on that arm, but as he came around a third time, Masamune was waiting on him. Jab straight out. Oh, man, he hit him with the top of that foot on that kick and knocked Reynolds back into it. Here's a double. They took him right over and down with a double suplex as they bounced Reynolds off of it. Up on the shoulder, the fireman's carry, and then he dumped him down in a slam. Count of 1, and Alan Reynolds, not through, kicks his way out of it, only to take another solid shot from Samurai Shinji. Hip toss, and he snapped him over very, very firmly. Tag goes on Masamune. Reynolds pounding away at the midsection, and a double chop right on the pressure points on the side of the neck. Puts him back down on the knees again. Oh, there's that spinning back kick. Good night. Does that thing develop for us, Dave?
It's like lightning. You're hit with it before you can see it coming.
Reynolds just got caught with a DDT as he slammed him down. Popped that side saddle move on him, and I mean bounced his head hard. Up, and they're both in there. Double whip in the air, holding him up and then hammering him straight down. Jungle Jim McPherson coming to the aid of his partner. The referee sending him out. Masamune gets out of the ring. Shinji picks him up, and Masamune hits him with the clothesline. Coming off the second rope, that should be it right then and there. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of glad to see that come to an end because Alan was taking a lot of very vicious punishment in there.
He was being clipped with those clothesline, everything that they could throw at him. 4:17 the time. The Japanese team gets the win.
Okay, the win goes to the Japanese team. We're going to take time out and be back in just a moment. Including P.Y. Chu-Hai ended up with the victory on it, but Maybe this time next week, Tojo will still be asleep and he'll stay out of people's hair and keep that kendo stick where it belongs.
You know, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh,
But
yeah.
I won't count on that, I'm afraid. I'm afraid Tojo will be around much sooner than that kendo stick in hand. Japanese team still looking mighty impressive. You got to give them that, like them or not, and all the tactics, but they're an impressive team.
Boy, that spinning back kick, Masamune nails them with power. Hey, listen, a couple of new faces I love.
Yeah, the Dreamweaver, who put Tojo to sleep, as a matter of fact, which he was very impressive. Physical specimen out here. I think you're going to be hearing some noise out of the Dreamweaver around the territory. And also, Jed Grundy. Jed's out of Kentucky, and a little different approach to everything. Very nice man. Had his pet chicken out here, but he can take care of business, too. So it should be interesting.
He does, in fact, do that, you better believe. So it'll be interesting to see as we have the new talent in here, and always some great action coming out of the CWA. You know, we'll be looking forward to you being back here next week. And by golly, we'll have another one. That's one of the beautiful things about it. You never know what's going to happen when the lid comes off, and we're going to be looking forward to hearing it. For Dave Brown, Lance Russell saying bye-bye, everybody.
The announcers on this program are selected and paid by parties other than this station, namely the promoters of championship wrestling.